So our images are now being uploaded, variants are being generated, and they are displayed when we select the image, and obviously the process completes. However, when we reload the page, you can see nothing is being displayed, and this is because our product controller doesn't actually pass any data to this view. So let's open our product controller, which you can find under App, HTTP Controllers, Product Controller. You can see that at the moment, assets are just passing an empty collection. So we're going to change it. Let's open a terminal and create a new resource. Now under resources at the moment we have only asset resource, but what we want to do is to create a collection of those assets. So we're going to start with PHP artisan make resource, and we're going to call it asset collection. This will create the collection resource. You can see this this class extends resource collection. Before it was just JSON resource. Now for this particular class, what we need to do is to specify what it collects. If we open this resource collection, you see we have this collects property. Let's just copy this entire block. Let's paste it here, and we are going to say that this one will collect asset resource class. And from within the array or to array, we are simply going to return this collection, and we're gonna say to array, and that's all we need to do from within this collection resource. If we save and close it, we can close this one as well. And back in our product controller, what we're going to do is to pass this for these assets. We are going to use asset collection that we've just created. We are going to use make method here. We are going to pass product. Product. We want to load all associated assets and pass them. We could obviously, this is anyway going to call those assets when we are passing this as property, so it's going to make the call to this assets collection, and then we want to return collection property, which will return all of the records parsed through this asset resource. So if we now save it, if we preview everything in a browser, refreshing, you can see now we have both of the images that we've uploaded in the previous episode visible to us. However, if we preview this one, we still have this local host here. This is because obviously if we preview our table, you'll see that if we show all the records, that the record that we had previously, if we just scroll down a little bit here, caption, and we have URL, you'll see that obviously because variants save the URL and the path to the database, this has also persisted the host for that. So for the time being, what I'm going to do is just remove this record, the rows, because we don't have removal functionality yet. So if I remove this, and this image is ADW, so if I just go back to our editor and remove anything that's not AW, which is this, and this, so these images can be removed, and this one as well. I'll delete. There we go. If we now preview everything in a browser again, now we should only have a single image which has all the variants and the main image displayed. Okay. Now I'd like to show you a few other use cases that we can apply to the code we've just implemented. Now, as you may remember, our file upload service, upload method, can also take a processor, which means we can apply the process to the original image before it actually is being used to generate any variants. So what I'm going to do first of all is inject the instance of image manager to this product image controller. So let's just go image manager. We're going to call it manager. Let's add doc blocks and initialize property. And if we just move it up, all those are fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is provide a callback here, function, and this one will take uploaded file, Illuminate HTTP uploaded file instance, which will be passed through to this callback from within this upload. If we go, we have this process, so you can see it's been passed to this parse file as a second argument. And here, when we're returning the newly generated uploaded file, this call user func will call this processor and pass the instance of the uploaded file to it. So from within here, what I'm going to do is first check again whether we are not dealing with SVG files. So I'm going to check if file get, this is client mime type triple equal image SVG plus XML. That would indicate that we are dealing with SVG file. In this case, we're just simply going to return the instance of this uploaded file. Otherwise, we are going to return this manager make. We are passing the instance of this uploaded file because this manager make method constructor can also take it. And then what we are going to do is we are going to run some methods on it. We can start with, let's say, grayscale, was it? Grayscale, there we go. And then we're gonna save this file because we are still dealing with the temporary file. This is the file that's been just uploaded. It hasn't been actually stored in any storage yet other than just a temporary directory. And we return the base path to it back with this callback. So if it's an SVG, we are returning back instance of the uploaded file. Otherwise, we're going to return the path to this temporary file, which has already been modified using ImageMagick. Intervention image, maybe GD or ImageMagick, obviously. So if I now try and test it, if I now select the image, let's go for this colorful one here that is being processed. And in a moment, there we go. You can see that the original image, which was full of color, now has been applied this grayscale effect, and all variants obviously persisted it while being also fit within the specific dimensions. Before we proceed, then I'll show you how to actually apply a processor to each variant type. I would like to go through a memory limit and max execution time increase on your system. Now I'm running Catalina on Mac, and first of all what I'm going to do is to find out where my PHP ini file is located by using PHP --ini, and that tells me that loaded configuration file is at this location. So I copy this location, and what I'm looking for is the memory underscore limit variable. So grep and to find the line where we have memory limit listed on this file, and it tells me that it's on line 408, and I currently have it set to 1 GB. Chances are you might have it less than that, and that may cause the problems when you have a lot of image processing using intervention image. So I would recommend increasing this to about 1 GB, depending on how much memory obviously you have available. So what we're gonna do is go for nano. We're gonna go for line 408, so plus 408, and then the path to this file. So copy and paste. That opens the file on this line, and obviously you can modify this however you want. Then Control X, Y, and return to save the file with the same name. The next thing we're looking for is max execution time. So I'm going to use very similar thing as before. Arrow up just to get the same command as before, just change what we are looking for. And we are looking for max underscore execution underscore time. And that tells me that this is on line 387. So a nano plus 387. And I've got it already set to 120. By default, it was 30 seconds. So I've got it to 2 minutes here. And obviously, again, the same thing. And you can then change it to however many minutes you want. 120 seems quite decent, so I'll stay with this. The next thing, because I'm using valid here, Laravel valid, I also need to update the valid fpm.conf file. And this file is located, and again, I'm going to look for memory limit on this file. Although this file is quite short, so we could just edit it straight away. Now, this file needs to be edited with the sudo privileges. So sudo nano editor, and we go for the path, which is user local. We go for etc php 7.4 version is the one I'm currently using. Then we have php fpm.d, and the file is called valid fpn.conf. And now I need to provide the administrative password. and I'm in the file. As you can see, the line we're looking for is this PHP admin value memory limit, which I have set to 1 GB. So if you need to change it, if you have it lower and you have problems processing the files, obviously change it to whatever, how much you can. Then Control X, Y, and return to save the file with the same name. Now, lastly, what we need to do is restart the PHP first of all. So we're going to use brew because I'm using Homebrew here. On my setup services, restart PHP. So that will restart the PHP locally. And after all this has been done, we also need to restart the wallet. So wallet restart. Now, one last thing before we finish this episode, I wanted to show you is how we can actually have a processor for each breakpoint rather than one global one. So if we provide a global breakpoint and don't provide the process for each breakpoint, then obviously this global is going to be applied to all of the breakpoints. However, if we provide a breakpoint for, the process for the breakpoint, then obviously this fifth argument, this callback processor is going to be ignored. So let's remove this closure, and I've already copied and pasted some code here. So we are still returning instance of small, medium, large, and X large. This time we have a closure which takes image instance that's going to be provided, passed through as an argument, which we then can modify however we want. For the small one, I'm going to modify it. I'm going to fit it within the dimensions of 400 and 300. Then I'm going to flip it vertically. For the medium, I'm going to fit it with 600, 400, colorize it, just change the color slightly. Then we have a fit for 800, 600, flip it horizontally. And X large will be fitted within 1800 pixels, flipped vertically. So if we now save it and let's open it in the browser, let's select an image and let's just choose some other image, perhaps this one. So that's now processing. Let's hope no errors come up. And after a few moments, there we go. So this is our original image, grayscaled with the first filter we've applied. Now small image, if I open this in a new tab, you can see it's been cropped to our dimensions and it's been flipped vertically. If we just go back, that's what we wanted, fitted within 400, 300 and flipped vertically. Now medium one, we've applied this colorize filter, fitted within 600 by 400. Large has been flipped horizontally and resized as well. And then we have the last one, which has been flipped vertically. Where is it? I've closed the file, didn't I? Vertically and fitted within 1800. So as you can see, there are 3 different points that you can actually process the image, affect how it's going to look, and so on. So it gives you quite a bit of flexibility, as you can see, while working with image processors such as intervention image.